How is everybody? We are back. Hi. We're here. We're gonna do Lamia armor today. A little bit more height. Then we move on to roughness, and then hopefully somehow magically that, which I doubt, we will move on to king. So yeah. And Lamia texture, I noticed one thing I want to. And that is Toby. So we move that over. This should, I guess it's a little bit more than just color. That in, we're gonna highlight some stuff. This, we're gonna look for like the lowest points to do toe beans. And then maybe opposite ambient occlusion. Also, maybe a little curvature. We're down range. So we could definitely do that. Gotta be there. So I think we just want to blend these. That would make sense to me. And we need to pick out one set of pause. If we are being transform tile, and we'll put it in that. Those are the few we want from the area. Turn contrast up a little bit. Okay. No, I was zealous. 107. That looks better. I don't remember what that is. What are you? Oh, that might have been my finder. I was projecting to little missing hairs. Okay. I'm gonna use this to mask this. And then we're gonna use yeah, that. Let's use some blue noise. Not too bad. Grab color for it. Okay. Almost good. We can grow. We could levels. I think I'm gonna throw levels in there anyway. So that way whatever we split. Not too bad. Yo, Tony, how are you? Not too bad. I'll take that. Alright, armor stuff. What are you up to, Tony? Anything cool? I looked through the 3D code updates. I didn't see anything that would super help. I saw some almost relevant things, like artifacts in the painting. But yeah, anything. Unfortunately, yeah, probably work on putting together a little bug report. But yeah, I did some good old fashioned box modeling. Mix it up just really quickly. Paint thing. I mean, the painting in it isn't terrible. So I don't know if you were around when I mentioned this. They put like all of the sliders. Of course, they're more like, you know, this with little arrows on either side, and you can like middle click drag. Something like that along here. And when you paint, you can paint in like height, roughness, color, opacity, something like that. I think there's another one. Or there's like opacity of the brush stroke that you're to do. And all four of those sliders are all in the top, along with so many other settings that like it just crushes them. Like can't even see what you're. And the name is the first thing to go, so it's just a little frustrating. Probably made for 16:9 interfaces, so when I'm on my tablet. Awkward. 3D. It's so close to being a really great offering. Good pun, admit it. It was a good pun. I will admit that. Yeah, artifacts in painting. Ah, that is a painful thing. Hey, Callus, how are you? What are you up to today? Becoming the foremost authority in procedural wheel generation? Yo, Pau Geo? Hey, what's up? Doing a little bit of texturing today on this Lamia figure. Little monster, get some like back cannon things happening. And yeah, the artwork we need to do. First off, this has to look more bug-like. Get that. Then everything needs color. That's what we're up to today. Stretch before we get into it. You're still wheeling? Nice, nice. I saw you get that off by 1. Very exciting. Find this kind of. First off, like a million more. And we have to change the distribution. It's too even. Bunched spread. I warp a little bit of that. Peugeot. Okay, sounds good. What's up, Peugeot? How are you today? What are you up to? And thank you for helping me pronounce. So that unwrapping the wheel is already quite slow on your PC. Opening a geonodes to a place that seems for you, but no luck with that. That is too bad. Sounds like a Pokemon, a flying one. Well, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. That's how I pronounce them. You might be undoing very painstaking work that we've gone through, Tony. Think about your actions. Why do some streamers refuse your request? Because Vince Pa's character as in Nickelodeon IDs. Don't think I quite understand. Do they refuse the request to pronounce your name, Peugeot? You can drop the latest work in progress. I'm seeking more distractions. Absolutely, always seek. Yeah, I gotta like spot distort this right in the area. Be interesting. Armor. Need. That should be. Maybe. Who is Vince Paws? Don't actually know Vince Paws. This wheel's looking pretty good. Like what? I mean, you say it's slow, but is it done? Looks almost done. Vince Paws is a furry character, can be found on Google. Okay, well, I'm not doing that on stream, but Vince Paws. Oh. Okay. Oh, an animator. Cool. Yeah, the character looks pretty cool. The wheel bolts are not protruding normally. How are they not? Oh, it should. I mean, they be out here? No, they should be. Oh, I'm confused. Am I looking at two different images? Hmm. Just Indonesia fan animator yet? Cool, cool. Are they 2D hand animator? Or like 3D for 2D? Seems cool. I guess I haven't seen the content. Cool. Yeah, I don't know why that's the topic. What about Vince Paws? This EFP, don't really know that. It's a female mascot. Okay, yeah, I mean I'm seeing. Yeah, I don't see what's wrong with that. I don't know. Looks legit. But yeah, I think I'd want to see it. Just be. Oh yeah, that's 3D, 2D. Hi Yag. How are you? What are you up to today? Normal is a relative term? This is true. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, Tony. I think it's perfect. Or do you maybe mean that there should be a small gap? I don't know. It should be snugged up, right? I think it. Is Nickelodeon 90s very sussy than most cartoons? So it's a Vince Paws is a Nickelodeon? How does that have to do with Nickelodeon? I saw a YouTube. I guess maybe that's the disconnect. Fill me in on the story. But I grew up watching Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, and they were both really good. Uh, didn't really watch too much Disney. Just because, I don't know, I didn't. Like, I had enough content. They might be a little bit more alternative or something. I don't know. I'm good. I'm good. Getting so much done. So quickly. Pretty decent, I guess. Today I will receive a package. Package containing an Ethernet cable that will finally fix the problems I was having with it. So I guess I'm kind of excited about that. Bolts might be a little bit small for the scale. Fair. Dinspaw's characters remind you of mixed with Nickelodeon IDs Sonic and Pokemon. I could see Sonic. I could definitely see Sonic. Pokemon, maybe. Maybe. To me, Pokemon's all over the place. They've been kind of going into this style of like just putting dots, and sometimes they put shine on the dots as if they're like teddy bears or something. It's weird. It's weird. Yeah, Pokemon keeps changing. My peak Pokemon, like design-wise, that exemplifies what Pokemon should have stayed with would be like Krabby. Krabby is just such an amazing design. Okay, wait, hold on. Get some images, because I'm sure if we do images, we're also going to get like evolution. So good. Hey, Kingler. His pointy things. I don't know. He has some lines. He's an interesting design. I haven't seen anything interesting. Everything's just like a circle with line, the eyes on it. Some weird line pattern. It's bad. Have I ever been in some Scandinavian country in the late 2000s? No. No, I can definitely say I was not. In the late 2000s, I went to England, but that's as close as I've been to any Scandinavian country, which I think is still kind of far off. Why? Do I remind you of somebody? Maybe a long lost love? Yo, Grimy. What's up? Glad to see you're back. Hope coming back from the vacation is an easy transition. Let's see. We need a. That in. We'll put that somewhere. Oh yeah, how was the last Tri Jam? This to be. We have to turn these on every time. And this be here. Guess I could have just moved it there. I'm not gonna lie, that 3D planner projection is kind of cheap. The shape's more expensive. Go figure. You're gonna get levels just so you can intercept what finally goes in. Try the multi-directional warp. We could also shift it around. Like we put enough things, enough dots on this, we sort this only in one direction. Weird, but that's okay. Okay, we could do some adding and subtracting to that. That's a viable option. I like Sonic though. I miss the good old Sonic style. I actually heard an artist, was it? I don't remember who said it exactly. It was upsetting because they were like someone that I respected, but they were just mentioning that. I mean, come on, you like Sonic was a mistake, and you need to separate Sonic's eyes. And what? No. You can have characters that are different than other characters. Like, what's wrong with having the uni-eye? I love that. Work out for that one. How do I make this organized? It's harder to tell what's going on, but at least it's clean. You know, that's not terrible. Okay, that doesn't jump out so much. Can I paint the fingers somewhere? Fingernails again. Check, Catalyst, what's the next step for you? It looks like, to me, the wheel's done. Looks absolutely great. So when you just apply your geonodes, and then it won't run so poorly. Sidewall marking. Yeah, would it be better to apply and then do the markings as a separate geonode? Spin the letters as a sidewall and a second sidewall extrusion node tree, and then you can bool them together, or you could keep them separate. That way you could have different tire brands. Those cannons, this is back. Like now it's leaving out the Lamia texture. Or maybe it's light enough to blend in the gray background. Because what's that? Canon stuff. I feel like these are fingernails. Hmm. Okay. Pause. Let's grab. Okay, yeah, we got some fingernails painted already. Thank God. Hey, Leah, how are you? Kind of wanted to make them out of geometry too. Wait, yeah, the sidewall markings? Absolutely, yeah, spin them. What are you up to, Leah? Anything cool today? Anything fun? Dealing with any nightmare scenarios? Maybe it's all today. I mean, if sunshine is even peak good, who's to say that? I didn't admit. Okay. Need to isolate the hand. Probably do that with this. Position, like X position. I'll have to invert it, but if we do it in the middle, I think. Okay, okay, that looks like hands. Take this wherever this exists. Except this is inverted. You're good? Oh, am I just working today, so not really fun, but also not a nightmare scenario yet. That's good. We love that. Yeah, I'm pretty decent. Just getting some textures on our wonderful Lamia mythical beastie. Kind of a fun texture. Right now, just putting some fingernails on. Get this, we just need to do a color to mask to grab just. Can make. Plug that in. Double click this, so we're looking at. Single click this, so we're looking at that inspector. And click. Mask range up a bit. Off. that in. And from here we have the mask. We should be able to do like French tips if we want. Did I really forget a thumb? Maybe I cut the thumb out somehow. Oops. Oops, sorry. Well, that's something I'll have to deal with. Yep, okay. Definitely seen worse hands, worse fingers. Do I know it is Nickelodeon IDs? I don't. I should have looked that up. What is it? Station IDs? I don't. Interesting. It has so many hits. They all look very different. Or is it just a video set? Like at first it says bumpers. Like I know what the bumpers are. The bumpers are awesome. Those are a lot of fun. Where'd IDs come from? Identity database? I don't know. I look up Nickelodeon IDs, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of feedback. Do you want to summarize it in a wonderful human to human way? That would be a great way for me to catch up. Get me on the same page. Two fingers chilling over here. Hello? With their nails. Yeah, it's just gonna be that middle fingerish. Which is like almost it. Maybe I can pump it up somehow. Alright, let's just try it again. Like interesting. Let's see if we can add those together. Good idea or a bad idea? When was that? This one on the bottom, and then we link up. That finger feels just ignored and forgotten. I'm sorry. Sorry, hand. I didn't mean to do this. It does have a little. I feel like I see anything. Ooh, thunder coming. How do I deal with it? No, Roman in. RGB was okay. Another thing that we just give me this. Actually put a nail on this. And we'll struggle with the mirror after. Side. One hand, please. Calibrate. Oh, there it is. Oh no. By pirate code, that means you're marked for death. What have I done? Also kind of stigmata, maybe a little. Kind of a thumb, so I think thumb's in the middle. We split on the thumb. I think last hand I did the pinky. I stand by it. I think that was a great decision. When you see that karate chop coming right at your face, it's gonna be the most beautiful heel I've ever seen. Am I missing a part of this hand? One of you has to be. Mess up, which one is it? Oh no, wait. Tell me it isn't. Was at this particular moment, Danger realized he done. Done Coop. Nothing there. Okay, we're gonna need to change up just a little hand bit. I'm trying to think if there's like a low impact solution to this, and there might be. I'm lying to myself. It's a lot of copium. Dangerous amount of copium. You feel like less than a pixel. Can you do that for me? Can you get real small for me? What is even happening here? Oh, that's a whole, yep. Guess it could have worked if we sacrifice. We don't need Knuckles, right? Who cares about Knuckles? I mean, I do. Knuckles is my favorite echidna. Definitely the best Sonic character. Well, just dying on the inside a little. I have Maya open. I have generic humans in there though. We can flip over. So yeah, this is what I pulled out of 3D code, so I can fix. Pretty good. It's been this morning cutting eyelids in, so I hope there's not too many changes required, because the geometry is finally better. Yeah, not too shabby. I'm gonna change some of the normal a bit. He might be a little bit. It's always interesting when it takes more work to get something done. Sometimes it can turn out better than something, seems real easy. I also have to stop. We'll work on that. I gotta figure out what to do about mouth, because there's a lot you can do depending on what you want to do with the new scene. Don't save. Gonna pop open. Have it somewhere. Lamia. Do we do it on the with armor? They're separate. Sure, why not? Just a little surgery. You didn't like those hands, right? They were broken to begin. So, we can try the quick fix. Oh wait, we have symmetry on. That'll make everything way easier. Right? I need to be centered around the thing. Well, I got nothing. I guess we don't want symmetry with this. Weird. A small branch fell, or my wife's trying to get my attention in the weirdest way possible. It's a possibility. Okay, select this. Be here. Scale up. Nope, that's a bad idea. But keep scaling. Just for a quick fix. looks like it's so spun. There, that's better. It's a beautiful rain out. Don't think it picks up on the mic. You know it wouldn't be so disruptive? What if we just cut out the thumb? I have to do some weirdness to get. Do it over here. Okay, fine. Sorry, sir, but your topology is abominable. I can blame it on a computer. And that's what I'm gonna do. Hi, Cryogy. How are you? How's your day going? I think you can hear it now. It's absolutely gorgeous. And there's my package with my Ethernet cable. The stars are aligning. That look right. Three, four, five. When in doubt, count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're not even looking at my topology, you're looking at my UVs. Get out of here. Topology's not terrible for this. I like this one. Do I have a steam-powered mouse? Oh, no, that's rain. Oh, that'd be great, though. If I could have a little mouse that purred, I would do. The question is, do we cut it? I'm not that far. I've gone too far this time. Alright, what do I even have selected? The topology's great on this. Get out of here, Kurt. Oh, I literally wanted the other side of that. And then we'll unwrap that. Yeah, the thumb maybe had a little accident. Got squished where it shouldn't have been. That there. Croji, what are you up to? Anything cool today? Slowing a little bit. I don't want to go out, come back completely soaked. Oh, look at that thumb. That cute little not abominable horrible thumb. The other one. And unfolds. Gorgeous. I should be bigger. You know what they say about Lamia with thumbs. Grip things well and they will kill you. I've heard it before. Anytime. Not too bad. So if we were to put it over here, move it up here, we could fake having a nail. Been on a philosophy binge lately. Now you know why you hate it. I see. Is this a self-driven one, or are you down a rabbit hole of YouTube? Kind of a thumbnail. I can work with this. Next to each. Think the thumbs want to be friends? Or keep them separated by sides? Not that. You know what? Trying to group them is probably going to be dumb. That's not. Guess let's give it. Thumbs are going to all of a sudden be way more detailed than the rest of the hands. Yeah, that should be enough. Contingent being versus necessary being. I'm kind of intrigued. You'd have to explain some of the concepts. I mean, I like have a vague idea. Actually, yeah, okay. I think the rain slowed down to where I don't think it'd be a huge mistake to go outside. I should cut this different. Whatever. Damage done. That's the only thing we need to do. So now we export as. I don't want to overwrite it. I'm gonna make a backup, and then we'll overwrite. Go with the big brain. We might need to rebake. Principle of excluded middle, principle of non-contradiction. You're just saying stuff. I'll let you type it out. Give me a second. I'm gonna go walk outside. I'm gonna come back wet. Verb. Okay, I'm back. Scene was very nice. Contingent is that it doesn't have to be, depends on something else. Necessary is something that must exist in order for anything else to exist. Principle excluded middle. For every proposition, either this proposition or its negation is true. That one I still am grappling with. Principle of non-contradiction. Of two contradictory propositions, where one proposition is the negation of the other, one must be true and the other false. Okay. I mean, are you going somewhere targeted? Are you going, I don't know. This feels kind of pointed. I'm gonna let it play out. What did you discover, Cryogy? I know you hate philosophy, but any good insights that you can share with the class? Or just that it's all philosophy and it's kind of like superposition where it can both exist and not exist because you don't even have proof of either, right? Booleans for warrior people. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But what if things aren't always Boolean? What if they're an integer and you just never saw the 2? You just saw the 0 or the 1. Mind blown, right? Absolutely devastating. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Oh, anyway, all right, let's... I don't know, I'm worried about this. Don't want to bake hearts. Yo, ship that code. Thanks for the raid. Hope you had a good stream. Yeah, what were you up to? How'd things go? Hi Raiders. How are you? I'm the Danger. I'm working on a mech simulator game in a fantasy place. And this is texturing of a monster called a Lamia. They'll have lots of mech-like projectile weapons. And yeah, getting stuff done. So many little things. To raid man the meme stations. Then you can't find out something is real by thinking very, very hard about it. This is true. But you also can't disprove things by thinking really, really hard about it. Right? It was good. You solved all the errors by deleting everything. Perfect. That's the game plan we should have all stuck with in the beginning. Oh. Well, yeah, that sounds good. I think I've solved a few that way. I'm trying not to step in it, so I may have UV unwrapped my monster friend here and smushed the thumb up. And now that the thumb is smushed up, well, I can't put a nail on it, which is kind of like the biggest problem. I unwrapped it again, but if I bake things again and I overwrite this one file, it's going to take me at least half an hour of hooking things up again and trying to remember how I did anything. So we're on snowman in a fire situation. Can't disprove anything, period. I think that might be true. We learned something. So let's shout out for Ship. If you don't know Ship That Code, go check them out. Actually, I'm not sure that I follow Ship That Code. I do now. If you like me, click the button. Click the little followy thing. Watch them delete their whole project. It'll be very fun. Nihilism galore. But yeah, what was the project before you deleted everything? Oh, no problem. No problem. It's handy. You're on postmodern? Kyogi's post, past, current. Kyogi exists at all points in time. Social music app to share playlists. Hey, that sounds awesome. I have so many questions. I guess it would have to be like cross-platform. Would you be able to share a playlist from Spotify to someone that uses YouTube Music and it like finds adequate replacement songs? Would it just digest playlists into, you know, lists you can actually like show through I don't know. I feel like there's a lot there. You can only prove yourself wrong. I like that. I like being wrong. Being negative means that every time I'm wrong, the world is a better place. Just on Spotify right now, unfortunately, or nothing right now. Fair enough. That sounds cool. I'm intrigued. Well, yeah, I'll have to check out your stream. Is there like a specific... So I also need... Yeah, what is the specific need for that? Because Spotify obviously has playlists, but I guess they only exist within the platform? And they don't have like a share link? I don't use Spotify. I'm a YouTube Music guy. For all the pluses and minuses that gets me. Wouldn't that be a paradox? I mean, wrong is wrong the same as tangibly insolvent? Like I proved that I don't exist and boop, everyone forgot that that person ever existed. Who is that? Are they talking in chat? Who knows? The universe collapsed in on them. There's no way to comment or follow individuals and their feeds on Spotify. Oh, that's interesting. So it is a social component on Spotify. I like that. I feel like, yeah, playlist curation is huge. There are some people that put together amazing playlists and they spend hours every day putting them together. It would be cool to be able to like follow people. Yeah, especially if they have different genres. That sounds dope. Cool. Well, I will wait patiently for you to retype all your code from scratch. Cross-platform would be next level though, wouldn't it? That would be amazing. That might be one of those... You'll be the next Twitter, and you can even call it Twitter because Twitter's not taken anymore. Which would make so much sense. It's just birds chirping names of songs and then knowing the names of songs to look up on the other platforms. I think that would be awesome. You should buy Twitter right now. Yes, you should. Jump on that. I mean, I don't usually tweet, but now I'm happy that I'm not usually on Twitter because now you are looking at X's on X. I don't want to X. I don't want to X X's on X. It's such a dumb meme. I don't know why. It's like he's trying to keep the hype cycle up like he's juggling or something. Like the most important thing is that people don't forget that it exists. I don't know. Instead, just making it so everyone once it does not exist. Okay, so very scared. I could trash all. Actually, or not. That's the. I don't have one for both. Try baking. It only needs position in world space. Maybe an ambient equivalent. What else do we want? Curvature. Yeah, I think that's good. Yes. Okay, yeah, definitely good. Happens terrible. There's a button, I think. Per material. A mesh name for that. I mean, yeah, they're always going to override each other. Okay, just ignore this. Need to update the Lamia model. Get a bake for that, maybe? I feel like I touched one thing before and I had to spend forever to redo it. I'm just going to push it. Push it till later. That thumb is going to be jacked up though. You thought X was colon, not slash. What? I'm confused. X, the everything company. I don't quite understand. But you know what? Colon's funny. It's like some grown up 10-year-old. No, just not slash. Not slash. I'm confused. Crouchy, how do you manage to confuse me so much? It's just not slash? What? Oh, like so like the slash is slashed out, not I see something there. I don't know. It's maybe not the lowest hanging joke. X looked like a. You know what? You're not wrong. I haven't really seen it that much. And you know what? I don't really want to give it traffic. But you're right. It's such an interesting font choice. Okay, no more slashes. That's the platform. I'm going to no more slashes. Slash canceled? Oh, slash canceled. That's it. Peak cancel culture platform. Okay, wait, what do we... I have to put this down. Ignore this. We have to move on to something that's way more relevant. And stupid thumbs. Already kind of updated. I just don't think I can actually. Oh wait, I can do it transform. Do it really ghetto. If it's real tiny. Okay, hear me out. There are no black swans. You can't prove that. You see one black swan? Oh, I was wrong. Yeah, that's right. I'm fine with that. Rational people update their thought process based off of new information. And no one should ever be called out for waffling. Some other silly term to try and shame people for changing their minds about things given new information. Maybe that's just a personal opinion, but I think it's a good one. Okay. That. Somewhere. Okay. Went over this way. We'll just put it on the other one. Figure out what's going on. Should be easier to fix. That's just a contextual anomaly. I don't think it is. I think that's something that's happened repeatedly throughout history. I mean, is it a contextual anomaly? Are you trying to prove the opposite now? Confused. Why did you type that into chat? Oh, it's not showing up there. Not showing up there. I don't have this on. Aha. Okay, that could have been worse. That could have lasted way longer. Maybe like that. Not too bad. You're a contextual anomaly? Saying there are no black swans, you're speaking the truth, assuming you were. So you were clearly right all along. Atlas, where's this coming from? What an interesting philosophy you have. I mean, wait, hold on. If perception determines reality, right, then would it not be correct to say that there was no black swan until there was a black swan? That the mere sight of them was the invention? I know this is madness and heresy, but here we are. It's been said, it can't be unsaid. Just how it goes. Okay, correct. And one. Now, if I put the fingers along the side, I can bake it again and then have just a couple of masks. Finger. When we get around to, I mean, it already doesn't match up because it's some curvature. Maybe an occlusion. An anomalous context, so a context update doesn't make your earlier statement untruth. But can there not be a coexistence? There's a new truth. The idea is you'd have to go out and try to look at all the swans in the universe. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, unless you found a black swan, unless it was easily proven. There's an excluded middle. What if there was a gray swan? What if there was a swan that started one color and turned another color over its lifetime? I know you're trying to exclude some middles, but I'm like, you know? Very few questions in this world that I find actually that clear cut. Okay. Bye. Yeah, I can deal with that. Okay, yeah, thumbs are gonna stand out a little bit. But it's a net positive. Now back to armor. And we're finding the today. I'm here for. Okay, maybe we should actually put down some shininess on some different things. Your roughness. And absolutely nothing with roughness. They're slacking. Go half gray. So that way we can go up and down from 0.5, please. There, and then back if maybe we bring it back. This is going to be a pain, but this is I think we started with crab, then this is one. Alright, start with a thick, that, I don't know, shinier than this. Probably not applying. 3D has not a bad shot. I'll modulate it. So you hate philosophy. Oh, I mean, I don't blame you. Where does it get anyone? Has it solved anything? It's really good at proving that you can always find some other opinion. Maybe that's it. Maybe the only thing it proves is that there's more than you can possibly account for. Thing. The same to get shiny on the pointy bits. Then where is the map? All this. Glow it up a bit. That's not a bad. Cool. Okay, that's gel. It's all skull. Here are things. But it does help you to structure your thinking and eke out inconsistencies. This can be true, but until you reach the point where you decide that there are some inconsistencies that need to happen and you dive into the reasons for that. That'll be like everything. Horn. Probably be denser. kind of rough. Okay, okay, not too shiny, but gets a little specular pickup. Okay, that in there, and then this is gonna be one of the first leather. It adds rigor to your thinking. Does it add vigor? I need vigor. I need more constitution in my thinking, so I don't pass out when it gets too tough. Okay, all right, let's go a little shiny. Could have a lower frequency, but not too bad. Philosophy's not for you? There are entirely too many swans? Fair. And brains and vats? Laplace's demons? It's a mess. How do you argue against Laplace's demon? That's what I want to know. It just seems so like either completely within the realm of hypothesis or completely accepted as truth, but maybe beyond the ability to do. Right? Just like, okay, if you could catalog where every particle was at every moment in time, then you could go through all of history and know everything that happened. No? That one's interesting, though. Wait, what is the brains and vats thing? Is there a specific instance I'm missing? Okay, we got necklace next. All right, this one can probably be shinier. The thing outside. Okay. Blends in. There. Masks are fun. This mask. Cool. You need to be an entire universe to know the complete state of the universe. That's 2 universes. But to be a universe, you need to have a universe to know the state of the universe and so on. Unless you're missing the fact that maybe the universe knows itself. And I think this is where you throw everything out. But what if the everything knew about the everything? But only the great self. It's like a data storage, but like the data storage is the point. Maybe it's triggered the point where you don't need to know anything about history because you have all of history within your universe. No. See, that's not magic. Just beyond your comprehension. See, my only problem with that, right, is that if you say it's magic, then you are saying that the things that are done at children's birthday parties is of some equivalence to all of the data being held within the universe. Like, huh? We had different words for it, and I think we do, and you just don't like any of them. Yeah, that's where you can like divulge, I guess, because we're at the point. We've reached the divergence yet again. What is this one? Why is that not sure? Store the rules. Oh yeah, okay, we put roughness up a lot. This should be suede, I think. It. That could probably be a similar color. Ah, yeah. Played a lot of order. All these roughnesses like are gonna need to get way more complicated Does that mean information hacking is impossible? No, why would it? Why would anything be impossible? Well, I don't know. I've heard some theories that like certain things could have evolved the way that like biology evolved, like physics and maths. They changed to make a more stable universe. Maybe things were possible that are no longer possible for reasons. Maybe we don't have mutual exclusion all over the place. Wonderfully, a philosophy. You can rationalize away having to decide about anything. But what does it mean? The universe knows itself? That needs double the information? No, it is the information. It has like a hard drive. It just has all the information, right? Including the read write. It's in there. Now, if you're going to judge it based on what you think needs to actually use the information, I think that's getting into different territory. Saying that it exists. Because again, I'm positing that like, if it all exists, why do you even need to examine any of it? You just have it. What if there is no point? Except for the gathering. Except for making more stuff, more information. That also sounds like panpsychism. You need something to unpack it to actualize it. I mean, it's being actualized live. Like a zip for the universe. But the universe is the zip. Like the data just exists. It's the one place where it really is. It is what it is. But it's our broken thinking that says like there needs to be more to it. Maybe there is more to it. We don't understand. But it could just simply be to gather all the data, gather all new information, new experiences, new entropy, new low entropy stuff. Again. That's the outside. That looks okay. Just gotta include some of the roughness, or the height into the roughness. I think I'm feeling like it's a chitinous bit. I feel like the chitinous bit should be less shiny, maybe. That's a little bit too. Okay, that's not too bad. And it evolves according to the Schrodinger equation. I will admit my Schrodinger knowledge stops at the superposition experiment. I think he was expecting to fail, but actually somehow to other scientists proved everything they needed to hear. Hey, yeah, the cat's not dead. My pet cat's been alive forever, all this time. Maybe. Give it the current state of the universe and you'll give you the probabilities of what happens next to a precision of 10 to the negative 6. I mean, yeah. Why not? But what if all of the possibilities exist and there's a fracturing in the universe and there's multiple universes that contain all of the data, just like an A-star map, just like finding a heuristic between point A and point B. Could be a breadth first search, who knows? Maybe every previous decision's playing out at the same time. Maybe they're waiting. Maybe previous versions of ourselves are waiting for a failure condition to start up a previous universe's held. I guess it doesn't need to be held, but you know what I mean. They could cascade instead of just parallel executing. Anywho, philosophy, it's fun. Fun for the whole family. I'm missing one part. Where did those come from? Maybe those were the one thing that I didn't do? Like it's the background, everything else. Trying to make something that cut it all out yet. Oh, I guess not. I guess we have to make it now. Here, live. First we need that whole wave. Okay. Start with this and I'll just start subtracting all the other crap I found. Starts around here. It's arm stuff. And blend. That is the phase space, the Everett interpretation of quantum mechanics. So we only see a slice of that phase space. That's true. We only see a slice of anything at any one time. But that past phase is completely deterministic. You don't know. You didn't know you were a determinist? Sorry for your indulgence? No, I am a determinist. You're not throwing any shade on me. Yeah, I do kind of believe, I mean, in the broader sense, in both determinism and like the multiple universe idea. Like, why couldn't it all happen? Why can't everything play out? And also, yeah, I do kind of feel like given the same stimulus, you are going to come out with the same. I'm very much a Turing man. I like that line of thinking, and I have seen it to not be completely inaccurate. I mean, yeah, what do you feel about Turing saying that given a goal and a perceived set of options, I guess like a goal plus agency, can you guess exactly what someone will do? Yes, I do think that's true. Because people are usually doing this calculation in their head already. Like, what are my options and how do I follow through? Y'all play. I mean, we also have to factor in like human fallacy, like people misunderstanding things and us not having a full picture of someone's actual actions or what they perceive as their actions. So again, somewhat Laplacian because you need to know, the intricacies of a brain on a specific human. Don't do anything. All right, ignoring you. Move. Nope. Keep on moving. I'm dumb. It's gone. That means we must have had it. We're subtracting from here. So this is the things. Again, I'm dumb. Guys, these guys, I kind of want shiny. Are they getting overwritten by something else, though? Rough. And, okay. Don't have it right in the right place, I guess. Yes, and philosophically, you live on the premise that you have free will, because that is the dysfunctional model you can work with. I mean, it doesn't matter, because your free will is also deterministic. Right? I don't know. I have a hard time deciding that the decision I make is not the decision I would always be making. Like, that would actually mean that there needs to be a random somewhere. And I don't know that there's a true random. There's just singularities. There's just moments in time and space that you're passing through. Dysfunctional, because it is deterministic, but you feign free will. That's fair. Like, they both technically exist, but you would have always done the thing. because we also have a very real not free will. Like if you are incarcerated, you are in some sort of prison or jail, you technically don't have free will, right? Like we have a very humanly societal understanding of what free will can be. On top of also having the philosophical, like you are in control of your own actions. But yeah, just think in the grand scheme of things, like you're always reacting to the world. And the world is always the way it was, and you always made a decision. And how do you play out that there was another decision that you could have possibly actually taken? But then the future already exists. I mean, yeah, we just can't, we just need to pass through the future at a rate of time that we call the present. So if you wanted to know the state of the universe, you would compress it in places and store the data in your distributed network of singularities, simultaneously making space for new processing. Kind of sounds like how a brain works. But again, yeah, compressing it would mean that you would need to have something larger than the universe, and it all needs to fit within the universe, within our perception of reality. It's the aliens, man. They're defragging the universe. You know, defragging the universe is not that far off base. What if that's what the Big Bang was? Think about that. What if we're just riding out the entropic defragmentation of all the particles? And aliens, yeah, what if it just does it itself? The self-organizing data storing hard drive. And again, even better with determinism, right? Because you know where the data needs to go. It's going to happen procedurally. In fact, a lot of things in the universe are kind of procedural. Far out, man. Okay, this is all right. Let's go somewhere else. Oh man, this lighting always kills me. Stupid classrooms. No wonder I felt so oppressed. Give me a room with some real specularity throwers. I think I want to get color on there. I think color is really going to help. So let us... the thing? Thinking about copy pasting everything between start of the roughness and the end of the roughness. It should just cover everything. We need all those blends. We need them connected to masks. So be lazy, right? Oh my. Little messy. Now we just need your Dolby color. I guess connect to color. once it's all color. Be good to find play with. Whatever. I have a switch somewhere for them. Right? This one needs just the switch. Nice. We just better make sure that we aren't in a cell marked for trim. I mean, what could we do? Wouldn't that be what the black hole does? And then we just get, well, maybe there is no trim. Is there a trim? Maybe it's just reorganizing. But sorry, you couldn't get the data out of the singularities in time to use it for anything. Sorry, is there a term for a point in space and time that cannot be avoided? Because like I believe that the quantum events that drive thoughts are very within that realm. Just a backup? They don't really need it anyway? Catalyst, don't say that. That's true doom. No, wait. If it's a backup, they absolutely need it. Backups are necessary. If you are willing to lose the backup, what's the point of having the backup? This is going to blow your mind. We know the past exists, because if we look out into the universe, we see, I mean, everything I'm experiencing is technically the past, because the present is such a impossibly tiny moment that we're passing through. It might not even technically exist. It might just be the philosophical zero dimension doorway between turning things from the future to the past. We might only be in the past. Now said the past 13 billion years ago. I mean, not with any sort of good precision. Need to store the past, make it retrievable real time. See, you're saying we, like this is a technology for us. We're in the technology, silly. We don't use the technology. You think so anyway? Couple of recent headlines. Universe may be double as old. Big Bang didn't actually happen. Those are fixed points in most fiction. A singularity. Singularity is the term. Okay, sure. So yeah, the quantum events in your brain, I believe, are singularities, and that makes us all deterministic. Singularity is a point beyond which we can't predict. I mean, I could see that being a definition for something, and if that's what singularity is, cool. I need a new word. Fixed points. Fixed points is such a bland, generic, casual thing to say. Is that really the... Oh, Cryogy just dismisses them altogether. I see how it is. I see. I get it. Okay, colors. We need to put some colors down. I put it in the title. I put it in the description of what we're doing today. I do something. Let's make this reddish. I want it to look a bit more dead than the thing on her back. Unless we make it the color of the thing on her back, and maybe it's all a thing, but this really feels like it's dead off something. Otherwise I would have like put it in. You know, I should try that sometime. I'm not sure how I would do a good transition between fur and like a chitness though. Armorish. Now you've listened to scientists describe what the actual science is and how the writers got it completely wrong. Okay, but we've also had scientists tell us things are impossible that were then proved possible. Isn't that the whole Oppenheimer movie, is proving that the whole science world said, oh, this cool thought that someone had is really impossible, but what a nice thought. And then all of a sudden it happened, and everyone was like, here's my revised thesis on... Yeah. I don't know. I guess to look like less of a fool, I'm going to try and make less absolute statements. That's my idea. What are you? You're a skull. Little brown, tiniest bit of brown. Right. And that one was definitely a little bit less. We'll put some highlights and shadows. Oh, that makes everything look so... It's bad if this is where I want to start with things. I guess it was the... in the armor set. We need armors. Sure. Maybe ale. That's not... Is this going to be the right one? No. That's the folder. Ambient occlusion. Do wonder though, because like science at a certain point is also kind of philosophy. It doesn't really affect you. Trying to say that something is in a certain way and somehow affects reality in a way that you can prove isn't, then it just isn't. And otherwise, you're going to say something so far out that you can't disprove it, right? Am I wrong? Again, yeah, some science I feel like it's just in a range of being almost like fortune telling. Looking at skull. High range. Higher contrast. Bad. Question is, one goes. Okay, highlight and little shade. That got darker. It's good though. This is the highlight that we're. Of course, of course, of course, of course. I think this one we just add in a little bit of ambient occlusion. Multiply. What do I add? Invert. Yeah, good enough. I feel like it's not happening on the scope. Okay, I like it. We can make it dirtier. We'll do a dirt pass afterwards. But that is science. You've tried to prove me wrong. I couldn't. Now you prove me wrong. If you do, I'll change my mind. Perfect. That is why I like science. That's why I stick with science, because the updating ideas. Very important. But yeah, some things are. How much money do we spend just proving people wrong? There's some weird ringing on the head that I don't love. Where's that coming from? Curvature. It'll blur. It'll. Kind of there, but it's way harder than this. Take it. Alright, what do you? Arm things. And are you just gonna be bone colored too? I'll probably fade it to darker color at the bottom. Not to forget the rule of Guido's exception. Says it only takes some garden hose and a $5 wrench to change your mind. You know what? If you can do an experiment that cheap, that's great. But things like gravitational waves, which have taken, you know, huge buildings and structures sunken under the ground in 2 separate countries to both verify. You know, it just seems like there's a lot. Not that it doesn't help. Like it's cool. It could help, I don't know, detect meteors someday, right? If you really understand gravitational waves. Yeah, it takes more and more to push the boundary of your knowledge a little bit further. Okay, that might have been politics. Uh, man, too real. Way too real. Okay, wait, what's happening in the back here? We should figure that one out. Back is unported in. Okay. I do a little search. This. This is okay. This goes on top of here. And if the other monster. Yo, Grimy, what's up? Hope you had a good stream. Heard you have a haircut. Good luck. Good luck. Have fun. Welcome back, by the way. Missed you. Yeah, hope your stream was good. If you need to run, I get it. You're here to chill. That's cool too. Also here to chill. Did I do it right? Is this the one I think it is? Okay, we're good. That's you right now. Go rest up. Think about what cool things you want to dev tomorrow. Just get at it. You could do it. What am I working on? I'm doing some textures for the Lamia. And yeah, not too bad. So we did the height first. We kind of got some roughness in. Now we're kind of putting in some base colors. Except for the skull. I got carried away on the skull. So we still have to do the teeth. I want the teeth to be separate. Have some shine to them. They should have some like striations, you know, like dental things do. Already put a line in for him. Oh, I have no idea where that comes from. Oh, that might be a seam. Don't look at that. That doesn't exist. Just PogChamps, a chess tournament for content creators, mostly very bad chess players. Now the chess goat Magnus Carlsen is streaming Mario Go-Karts with the title officially a variety streamer. Please sub so I can go play PogChamps 6. That's, you know, at least the chess world has a really great sense of humor. That's pretty grand. Maybe a color. That's too much. We desaturate. And maybe devalue them a little bit. It's good. Seems there is a seam. Yeah, about that. Alright, I rushed it. I feel like the model looks good, but I may have rushed some of the finer bits. Kind of made up for some of them. We'll get there. It'll be fine. We'll put it all together. It's going to look great. With all the effort we put in, we might make this a boss. I'm even thinking we still go into Marvelous Designer and then like get some like leather straps to like actually attach some of the armor. Maybe this would be cool. Have some leather straps down there. It's gonna be glorious, right? But it might also be one of those things where I put so much effort that we only see it once or twice in the game. Because it's a little bit too much. Especially if we get the things in the back. If we do the physics joints on the little bones back here, it's gonna look amazing. But it's probably gonna kill frame rate. Sag. Rip frames. Okay, colors good-ish. Like dirty it up, put some tarnish on there. It's actually looking good. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been kind of breaking it up more than I usually would. It's okay. It'll be fine. Yeah, if I can get the color scheme to not be absolutely horrible, and this could be a really scary opponent. And I've been dealing with scary opponents. I've been balancing the game, and for the longest time, random and procedural games are amazing. For the longest time I was playing my game, and I like spread enemies out and it was feeling really good, and all of a sudden I keep spawning and I keep having like a unique champion pack of cats spawn right on top of the starting point. And obviously it highlights like, yeah, I should probably cull where we're spawning some things, but dang, it's kind of driving me, you know? I've been working on guns, so like I can eliminate that pack, there's a much better chance that I'm going to get a good gun to work with, and then it's good. Good, you can go a while, find a lot of new weapons. But yeah. It's definitely at a dangerous place where it's not an amazing game to play, but you know how you can settle on a game that's kind of like whatever and play it for a long time? It just starts sucking all of my extra time away. Just like testing things and playing and being like, what should change? Even though I have a whole to-do list. Man. So yeah. Also makes me think, I should probably put it out there for people to play soon. At least a first round of alpha testing. And get their feedback and notes. If I fix that and push the to-do list a little bit more, it'll actually be in a really nice place. Got this? Thanks, yo. You do too. I feel like you were at a point where you could start playing your game. Like you just finished GUI panels. I think you were working on something else a little. I'm excited to see the whole gameplay. When do you think the first, like, grimy plays is gonna be? Like, could you sit down and play it by the end of the week? Just have like a 1 hour session, just recruiting people, making deals, selling product. Because I'm psyched for that. Also so important to do early. Like I can get totally sidetracked just putting stuff into the game, just like features and stuff that I want, and never play the game. Like for months I could not seriously sit down and play the game. Like all of my priorities shift every time I do. Probably play my game more often. See what I think actually needs to change. What can I sink my teeth into to make my gameplay longer, like immediately? There is a problem sometimes when that is designed. Like you need more content. Yeah, we're getting to the point where we can just put in more content and make more content, all that crap. First session equals this fall, hopefully. Hey, that's only like a month or two away, right? But who knows? I mean, you're on your way. I know it'll be soon. I'm excited. And if it's not soon, it's because you figured out how to make it 10 times better. You know? It's just something you missed. Sometimes that's how it is. Because Starfield got in the way? Oh man. Hey, when is that coming out? That's soon, right? It's almost August. Is that coming out in August? That was September, right? Like September 6th or something? Like early September, right? You think you could push it for like early September? How amazing would that be? I mean, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. But that would be a cool deadline. Just so you're not going to Starfield and coming back like, where did I leave off? Be like, all right, we have a session that we can play. Figure out where to go from there. You could try. Oh man. I mean, yeah, if you can't, you can't. You did a huge push last week. Whatever you're capable of. Ew, you know, picking colors and having so many colors to pick. I'm dumb. Why'd I do this to myself? We can get dark a little bit, maybe a little bit. Way too shiny. Not bad. It's always this dance around having things be just shiny enough to, like, you know, pick up interest and look good from the side. And then having things like be dull because if everything's shiny, it's too shiny, it looks too plasticky. Sorry, I had to step away from it. Your haircut got pushed up to 5:30. Oh dang, do you have to go? You running? Sounds like a stressful situation. Good luck with the haircut. Oh, this is here. Okay, hold on. I had a whole thing. Oh, it's already up on the peer ref. I need to pick one of these. I think this is really cool if I could get this pattern. Kind of like a seashell pattern. Or this. So this is a bit busy. Look awesome. And if I could get this, I could. It's just gonna take a little time. So if I want to. Like, it might be a bit much to think that I can get all of this on there, but I think I can get some of the way. The depth. Take some ambient occlusion, put some height in there. Just gonna pick one of the patterns. One. Oh, and I like this one. Like a conch shell. Squished into like a isopod. And I don't fully understand these things. I looked up chitin, whatever you want to call it, because that's what like bug shells are. It's like, yeah, let's just see what that looks like. And I found this wonderful little creature. I have no idea. It really does look like an isopod to me. I have to do more research. This is like 5 minutes away. Okay, that's not too bad. If they mess up your hair, gonna riot? You should riot. Absolutely. I've heard so many people have horror stories. I just don't. No, just all natural. I think I heard your story where you had long hair and you went for a haircut and they just like chopped it all off against your wishes. And then it looked like it curled for a little while or something. Hairdressers, they're all artists. Oh, we need to split this one. And it's up here. I'm thinking it's gonna be leather. Like a leather padding to sew and keep everything together and have a reasonable edge that you're not gonna cut yourself on. But then the same color actually is here. And that, I think I want to be metal. And cutting things, something. Okay, so need a blend that has this. That'll be our map or whatever. Need two. This one needs to be inverted. That's suspiciously close. I think we can work with it, but Zombie, how are you? Yeah, they messed it up. I'm sorry, man. That's the worst. I go and they shame me. They're like, "Your hair's all dead. If I was to cut it, it would be this short." And I'm like, let's just keep it dead. It's fine." Full house today? That's right. Lots of wonderful faces in here. What are you up to, Zombie? Anything interesting? Ryoji philosophically invented chairs. Don't let him fool you. Like he did any work. Found your way out of your hidey hole. Grimy was going through an ordeal, okay? Vacation's not easy. But if his hair gets messed up, he's back in his hidey hole. He wears a hat. I think he's covered. Actually died. Waiting for pizza. And I'm excited for food. That's over. It's like 2 hours away. Anyway, I'm having meatballs tonight. I'm very excited. Patience not easy. It isn't. It isn't. Actually, one of my in-laws was the one that mentioned, like, oh yeah, when you go on a vacation, you need a vacation from your vacation. So smart. They travel all the time. So when they say that, I'm like, okay, you never get used to travel. You just don't. You might get used to having to travel. You might get used to like being at an airport. But you never get used to your life being kind of like put on hold. Look, hair out of the follicle is already dead, so you're not wrong. I always thought that, right? Everything that you can see for hair is already dead. Your body has pushed so much keratin into a single cell that it dies and gets pushed out of your body, and whatever happens, happens, right? I guess hairdressers have an idea of the hair having a length at the end that gets more split end, drier, gets more abuse. I don't fully deny it. Like, I can kind of like tell that some of the bottoms are like, not. You know what? Who cares? It disrupts the flow of things. It does. It absolutely does. It's supposed to be relaxing, but like you have to get into relaxation. Like I'm cleared to be doing less. I'm okay to like, relax. You need to give yourself the license, and then you relax for a little bit, and then you start worrying that it's gonna be over too soon. And then you have to travel again to come back, and then you come back, and you're like, well, this is the place I technically love. The place that I left that I maybe didn't want to leave, but here I am. And it's weird because you grew accustomed to another place for a little bit. I'll never get used to traveling. Hey, productive time, how are you? What are you up to today? Probably being productive, right? Put this in here. Split this one. Two different. Maybe like that. Pure stress last week? Was it really? I mean, yeah. So, are you stressed over like making sure that your wife has a good time? I've definitely been on a vacation with someone who is usually very relaxed, and I know when they go on vacations, they're usually very comfortable being on vacation. I went on vacation with them once, like semi business. We went to GDC, and they mentioned that they were like extra stressed because they wanted to make sure that everyone else that they brought to GDC was also having a good time. And we all found stuff to do and people to talk to and like parties to go to. So we didn't need to stress, but I also totally understand that. Having that impetus to make sure that the people that you feel somewhat responsible for actually have a good time. I get that. Man, how do you choose colors? Not have put so many things on here. That's what happens when you phone it in. Hermits say vacations equals stay at home, play games. Like wife equals let's travel everywhere. Yeah, same with me. Wife grew up traveling, so she's stressed by it, but she loves places and meeting new people and having experiences and food and stuff. I respect that. And it's always fun when we go, like, because she knows kind of what she wants to do. That's always a good thing. Um, but yeah, sometimes it's a pain dragging me out of the house. I won't lie. Sometimes, sometimes I'm the anchor. Sometimes I'm the ball and chain. Can I move over a bit? The id of Alan is coming in. Is he really? Well, Alan, and your id. I can go over this way a little bit. Came over here. That's you on vacation. Do we have to go though? And yes. It's like good for you most of the time, right? Yeah, I'm not too bad. I don't want my wife to leave me behind, you know what I mean? In all the ways. Like, you're not the man I thought you were, you're boring, you just sit around and make video games all day. True. The truth. So I don't want her to say that because that's problematic. It's good to take a break, or so they say. I mean, we already take breaks, right? You can't be 100% productive all the time. Sometimes you're like getting a lot of things done, putting yourself under a lot of stress, giving yourself milestones, and sometimes, it falls off a bit. And someone's like, no, 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 but you should leave the house. And you're like, but there's a, and, but I could, but we have all the, we spent a lot, we could. We could. Probably be less of a pack rat if that were the case. Maybe I should travel more. Maybe it'll, yeah, change something that's broken in my brain. Where's the back of this? Put you. Okay, we'll pull the whole thing. We'll give it all a color, and then we'll put all the fiddly bits on top. Actually, where do you even start? Guess we can do it here. This is getting messy though. The spaghetti's everywhere. I guess we can reuse it. There we go. Perfectly cohesive. Fills in some weird stuff. All right. Go to a different. Okay. We're getting somewhere. I said I'd put color on it. It's colorful. Success. One day you'll love vacations. I keep thinking like once I get this major feature in my game done, I can relax. I can go take up another hobby, just a little one. Just, maybe I'll go for walks or something. It never comes. It never comes. Every time I finish it, I'm like, oh, but the game feels so good. Like, we're really close to a demo, right? It's like one more feature and we'll be done. Go for walks? Are you telling me what to do, zombie? Not a bad idea. One more feature, exactly. Or one more major bug that's been lurking and, hasn't been a problem until, why not now? I just got very old. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Go skateboarding again, I guess. The only problem with skateboarding, I need to commit to being hurt because it's a real possibility. Not something that I'm completely like against. It's fine. It needs to happen. It's the learning process. But yeah, sometimes you just need to put it in your mind that like there's a chance that for the next month, I'm only going to be able to wiggle my hand a little bit. I can still div under those conditions, but with much wincing. I could collect post stamps if that isn't too exciting. Listen, they're like little portraits on each one with an adhesive backing. Like it, what's not exciting about stamps? They're rare, limited, and collectible. I'm sorry, I'm done. I'm done. I'm backing off. I don't collect stamps. I don't think I know anyone that collects stamps either. Am I missing out on a valuable friend type that understands the value of currency in a way that no one else does? Stamps are currency, of course, in the mail world. Okay, my mind might have gone to coin collecting for a second. So yeah, it has to be somewhat boring, right? Sorry, not sorry. Like over here, this is the one. Where are you? Sort of. So do we just make it metal? Whitish? Collecting metal? Oh, it's kind of cool as iron. Alright, we'll keep it. Iron's good. And the stamps? They could go on a board? Don't they go in like a... They have to go in like an acid-free environment. I would assume they have sleeves for these kind of things. Post stamps? It's an exciting world of postage. I mean, they commemorate so many wonderful American events. Very important. Okay, so I make all these jokes. I think I would jump on the opportunity to make a stamp for the US government in a heartbeat. If they wanted a series of like rendered fantasy scenes, maybe like a Dungeons and Dragons theme, I'm so on board. I'm already there. I'm already designing them. Actually, I don't know the criteria. But I would be, you know. At me post office. We'll make something work. Alright, I like it. Hands out just enough. But this is too goofy. Maybe we make a cool pattern. Should I make different ones? What if we had a try boss. What if we have like 3 Lamias that all have slightly different paint schemes? Man, the feature creep is crazy. I was also thinking with armor, boss, without armor, normal troop. I was also thinking without back cannons. And I could go either way. Let's go. Oh, let's start collecting. Oh man, we should make this is the worst get rich quick scheme ever. I'm so sorry, everyone. Just turn your brain off. Throw this out. Don't remember this. We could make a starter stamp collecting kit. It's so sleazy. Could be such a markup to just we just buy a bunch of stamps over a period of time, and we just throw them in an envelope and send them to somebody. It's a starter kit, right? They don't need to be valuable. Not saying you should make stamp designs with your creatures on them, but you could. I could. Oh man. Could you imagine tomorrow the headline popping up like Twitch streamer in custody for forging stamps and not well. Forging fantasy stamps where there were none. But maybe that's what I have to do. Maybe I have to make the stamps and I have to send them to the central post office and just see if they're like, oh man, why didn't we think of this? This is exactly what we need. It's a federal crime right there. Listen, you gotta start somewhere. You gotta fake it till you bake it. Maybe without the forgery part. Maybe without trying to get something from it. 5-0's gonna roll up on me. Yep. Not even the 5-0, the feds. Straight up G-men at my door. With the little curly earpiece thing coming down. It'll be glorious. We can do this. Tile sampler with gradient. We're gonna go scale 1, but we're gonna drop the height a little bit. Maybe a little bit less. Okay. Need a little flaring. And they kind of get bigger at the this needs up. Cool. We're like halfway there. Yes, of course you wouldn't use them in game or as Steam collectibles or anything. I mean, that's actually a good idea. I mean, maybe. I don't know if stamps are what I would... I did realize if I put my game on Steam, I get to make another set of emotes. I get to make Steam emotes. That's kind of cool to me. Sup, G-Man? Cracking up over here? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, more emotes are cool. I don't know about stamps though. We'd have to make like a quaint old person game. Maybe a game about traveling when you don't want to, but it's good for you. And I don't know why my mind just went to Up. We should make Up the travel game where you play through having all the adventures, and then I don't know how we get you to actually feel the thing at the end besides just being cruel, but yeah, it'll be fine. Steam emotes? Yep. Yep, I was hearing another dev talk about it, about how they have a little throwaway game, but for some reason Steam allowed them to, get achievements and do emotes and yeah, think about what emotes you could put onto the Steam marketplace. You can leave an imprint on Steam. That emote, that art is going to be there forever. People will be able to use it to communicate, even though the days of Steam being used for like actual messaging, they're through for me. I wonder if that's true for everybody else. Wouldn't that be cool? What are you going to do for emotes? It should be plaza themed. Maybe you could do like a pointing gun. Maybe you could do a. I guess you could do all the dergs. Do all the dergs. That's my professional advice. But we're gonna warp this in a couple ways. Directional map. Directional warp. That in. Give me a little pearl. Okay. That's something. And do we have mirror grayscale? Okay, and then we just need to do the middle E. Oh, and make it look not like crap. Let's get to cooking. Sounds good. And you gotta have some police in there, right? Oh, you could have a crooked cop. Sideways cop, maybe? Hmm. I don't know. How do you do a bribe emote? Obviously, we need a bribe. Middle things we shall do with. I know. Give me this, because it's always this. Pattern input, we might cut a square ourselves. Shape, throw it 45. Get fit. Okay. Shift it to up here. Okay, so we can do 3. If we do 3, we can probably hide the 2 side ones. Actually, that might be free. Just use this, and we rotate into mask. Got it. Yeah, I mean, just a couple more. Oh, we have to line them up with this stupid thing. Tail? This could be interesting. Lurkin? Well, if you're anything like me, you're freaking out because you have to leave any second now, sort of, for a haircut. Sit in a chair where a stranger's gonna touch your hair. Like, you don't have much hair, right? Like 15 minutes? Okay, then this can have blend with this. And grab some level. Gotta get ready. Good luck. Remember your money if you're gonna tip or whatnot. Man, if that's not the most awkward. Here you have a tip and money. Not terrible bad. We need to split this because color is kind of tied to height, but not 100%. Could always have that tip and money, that's right. Because we good people out here. Go like this, the contrast of it, the hair. And we can squiggle that around a bit. That's a start. This, I think, should go through gradient map. I wonder if I can just select off the image. New cheat. I figure the best place to actually. So we want, in order, white, black, yellow. Oh, that might be easier than I thought. Okay. If we went white, black. Why does that look so desaturated? Work with me here. Have a great stream. Thanks, Grammy. Have a good haircut. See you later. See you tomorrow. Whatever it might be. All right, go. Can we do it backwards somehow? Go from yellow to black to white. Nothing actually gets that dark. And it looks very red. Is it me? try that again. We'll pick by hand. Gradient editor. This one. Pick. That color a little reddish. Take it. And then it's the whitish color. You're this wonderful tortoiseshell. Now I'm going to move this up so it has some solid. We're going to move the white closer. Try it. That could be worse. This has been a mild success. Mild. I think we do the same thing for this bit. Okay, this one for a little bit switched. Okay, we can do this again with gradient. Okay, so this in with this to get the points better. Why is it so off? It must be the scale, right? Just a global offset thing. Okay, that works. We just need to flip it. 270. Shift it again, of course. Okay, cool. We can blend using this guy. These need to line up now. almost a good idea. Oh, this amount, I think, just wants 4. Maybe it's not a disaster. No, it's kind of just global offset both of them. Cheat, maybe? Transform. Zombie 02? Not really in the mood to be awake? Night, everyone. Good night, Zombie. I hope to see you soon. See you tomorrow, maybe? And meatball times. Height and ambient for everything, I guess. Tomorrow. See ya. Later, Zombie. These did line up, so you just need to shift both of them. There. Oh, I did it. Still a little bit more warping that we could do. This. Don't need no sneaking man. We need it to go to the edges. Good enough, I think. The idea here is that we could directional warp. And this is all. I don't even know if that's going to move in the right direction. We'll have to see. And please. Oh yeah, hey. They kind of line up, but they kind of don't. We just shift a little bit more. $15.4. No, 16. Of course, I shifted the wrong thing. You just need to shift by a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Besides just missing the edge bits. Okay, that's cool. I'm happy I went with it. Could switch it up, have a couple different ones. And it already kind of fits. You could warp a little bit to go with the shell that's happening, but we should. The diffuse is more important. It looks so pretty. It reads kind of far away. From farther away, it kind of looks like you've assembled bones. Fine, it's a good look. I feel like I could texture this forever. Forever. What she looks like in a small apartment. Not too bad. A dirt pass over everything will definitely tie it together. Definitely do more for the crustacean shell in the back. I mean, we're getting somewhere. The arms are the next thing we really need to change. Shoulder bits are googly. Are these a those are the paths. Change the color completely to something. Okay, little padding. Metally bit. This one? It's is indeed. Start with a position RGB split. Two-way histogram select. And we're going to try and grab a gradient for the like top. I grabbed the wrong texture. Keep doing that. Go from the top down. Yeah, that's kind of the effect I was looking for. Okay, we could take that. It could have some other striation, make it look like it's growing over time, over the seasons. Try to get this back. That could be kind of cool. It'd definitely make it feel like it was taken from a different creature. Do we want them to be cannibals? Not that it's not a part that looks like not truly cannibal. It just feels like it's bad taste because I didn't pick the right color that's different enough. Fine. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Hmm. It's a little bit of a hodgepodge. You know, I don't know if I love this leather. What else would I do? Kind of like the contrast isn't terrible. There is some busyness. We got color on. It was a successful day. We need to dirty things up. We should do a dirt pass. We should do a stain pass for the leathers. Let's try flipping this. It's simple. Makes me feel like this one should be blurred a bit. That way the other one. less. I don't know if we have more. Really? Maybe with less. Nice. Okay, so this part, the whole thing did not black white. Okay, yeah, 0.72. Not too bad. That's one thing. The gradient be it up down with striations a little bit. Back guns might be too like a lot of chatter. Darn. We have to take out of the metal while also roughening. How color coordinated? They're scavenging, right? So not at all. Sounds good. I'm getting tired. Oh, could maybe. And yeah, do for the bone bracers, we should probably do similar stuff for teeth. A little shinier, a little whiter, maybe. Happy with fingernails. Oh, great excuse for thumbs are different. Just my own stupidity. Actually, is there only one that's really bad? Is this one that matches better? All these are used. I drew on top of each other. Pull out ambient. Why does ambient occlusion look like position? That's funky. That was usable anyway, but very funky. Not sure if we should put texture on. Get like height bumps on the abdomen. Maybe some subtle ones. Okay, wait. Construct this. So you need this. You need this. And this needs to be instead. Oops. Not the wrong one. More like this. Unblurred, like way blurred. Yeah, we'll just bring up the bottom so it doesn't get too deep here. What after? Who cares? I think we go as deep as that would be irresponsible. Would I ever do anything irresponsible, chat? No, never. Okay. Throw it outside somewhere. What does that monster look like at the airport? Oh, it's so overcast. Can we get a sunny airport day, please? I kind of feel like herb. So do we invert it? Does the black actually go higher? I think it does. It's so hard to tell. Blur less. I don't know how. Maybe they don't matter. Actually, adds a lot of depth. Yeah, not too shabby. Tinier. Goes off the height map. I'll take it. It kind of feels like reactive art. And then boring from the back. Kind of looks like, yeah, maybe they're trying to engage you by being overwhelming from the front. And just slightly armored. Do you feel like you need at least a little strap to keep this thing around? Yeah, the next things that are really jumping out to me are this leathers. Anything that's kind of a solid color right now. Leathers are the worst of it. Leathers, I like to do because tanning involves using chemicals on leather to make sure that it's preserved, right? And leather also doesn't work with liquids well because it absorbs them. So, yeah, what I go for is like lots of splashes in the diffuse to try and make it look fizzy, splotchy. There's lots going on. And sometimes you don't notice that it looks like a lot of drips. Sometimes it just kind of looks like a nice weathered old leather. Maybe I should look into tannery processes. See if I don't know, what does old leather look like? Because I don't think we have old leather. It rots. So we would just have the processes by which to make. So we'd have to have some modern recreations. We'll look into it. We have to do something. The leather's not quite there. I don't mind this one actually. All needs weathering. Weathering that we will get to tomorrow. Also have to figure out what a Nickelodeon ID is. Is it just the bumps? The bumps, the stingers, the transitions? Anyway. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Figure out where we're going. Staying. Ooh. So Kana is doing some new cat race designs, which is cool. Yeah, let's check out Kana. Thank you everyone for joining me. I really appreciate you. All my chatters, my lurkers, my VOD watchers, thank you for the raid, Grimy. Welcome back, Grimy. Hope you're having a good haircut, like right now. What else? I did shout out to Grimy, right? Shout out to... Did I do the Grimy shout out? Let's do a Grimy shout out real quick. Go check out Grimy Badger making a really cool game called Plaza, which is a tactics game where you're selling chicken nuggets and dealing with the whole chicken nugget chain, right up to selling it on the streets. Great guy, great atmosphere, cool game. Check him out. Thanks for the raid. And meanwhile, we are going to raid Condominis. So yeah, thank you everybody. Goodbye, Callus. Around for the raid if you can. I appreciate all of you. We'll be back tomorrow with question mark, question mark. We might do more textures. We could do a rig. Might get to a rig. We should probably finish textures up first, and then what is the final thing? We could go back to generic humans for a bit. Those are almost wrapped up, but we might have to do mouth bags. So that's kind of the idea. A couple of things we might get into. But just beyond the horizon, we have more world gen stuff and game dev, and Diablo is actually coming out to be really cool. Yeah. Join me again tomorrow, hopefully between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.